Hello everyone, this is the study guide for the novel The Dark Room by R.K. Narayan. The Dark Room is a powerful novel that explores domestic life and gender dynamics in traditional Indian society. The story revolves around the lives of a middle-class family in Narayan's fictional South Indian town of Malgudi. Plot: the turbulent family life. The story centers around Savitri, a traditional Indian housewife who endures her husband Ramani's indifference and mistreatment. Ramani, more interested in his work and an affair with a younger colleague, often neglects his family. Savitri's life revolves around caring for her children and coping with her husband's neglect and occasional bouts of cruelty. Savitri's struggle. Savitri's struggles represent the plight of many traditional Indian women of that era, confined to domestic roles and expected to endure the behavior of their husbands silently. She often retreats to a dark room in their house, a symbolic space where she confronts her pain and loneliness. The affair and its impact. As Ramani's affair with his colleague becomes more blatant, the domestic situation worsens. Savitri's anguish reaches a breaking point, leading her to question her role and identity as a wife and mother. The children too are affected by the tensions at home, with Babu, the eldest, becoming rebellious. Savitri's brief escape. In a moment of despair, Savitri leaves home, wandering the streets of Malgudi and contemplating her life's choices. However, this act of rebellion is short-lived as societal norms and concerns for her children's futures weigh heavily on her. Return and realization. After a night of introspection, Savitri returns home, realizing the limitations imposed on her by society and her responsibilities as a mother. She resigns herself to her life, albeit with a deeper understanding of her situation. The novel's conclusion. The novel concludes with a semblance of normalcy returning to the household, but with a changed Savitri. She is more aware of her plight and the societal constraints that bind her, yet chooses to stay with her family, accepting her role with a newfound sense of self-awareness. Themes: Gender roles and patriarchy examines the traditional roles of men and women in Indian society and the dominance of patriarchal values. Marital discord explores the complexities of marriage, especially in the context of infidelity and emotional neglect. Isolation and loneliness highlights the emotional isolation and loneliness of women confined to domestic roles. Resistance and resignation. The tension between the desire to resist oppressive situations and the eventual resignation to societal norms. Search for identity. Savitri's journey represents a woman's search for self-identity within the constraints of societal expectations. Characters: Savitri, the protagonist representing the plight of traditional Indian women. Ramani, Savitri's husband, embodying patriarchal attitudes and insensitivity. Babu, Kamla, and Sumati, their children affected by the family's domestic issues. Minor characters, including Ramani's colleagues and others, contributing to the development of the plot and themes. Symbolism: the dark room represents Savitri's emotional isolation and her inner world of pain and contemplation. Malgudi symbolizes the typical Indian society with its set norms and expectations. Household items and settings reflect the confinement and domestic life of Indian women. Literary devices. Imagery. Vivid descriptions of the household and Malgudi bring the setting to life. Irony used to highlight the contradictions between societal norms and individual desires. Foreshadowing hints at future events in the narrative, especially in relation to Savitri's decisions. Realism, portrayal of everyday life in a middle-class Indian family. Style and structure. Narrative style, straightforward and simple, focusing on the internal and external conflicts of characters. Structure, linear progression with emphasis on character development and thematic exploration. Conclusion. Through this narrative, Narayan presents a realistic and empathetic portrayal of a woman's life within the confines of a traditional Indian household, making The Dark Room a significant work in Indian literature. So this was the study guide on The Dark Room written by R.K. Narayan. We will meet in the next video and discuss some other work. Until then, goodbye and thank you.